Hello and welcome to this week's Football Talk podcast with me, Josh, as your host this week. It's your chance to sit back, get yourself comfortable, and we'll bring you up to date on this week's football. As we talk news, Dave gets his brain challenged in a manager-themed quiz. We review the weekend's football in the Premier League and the FA Cup. But we're now happy with our fun levels, so we'll be parking with sensible betting. But I will be sending a Wik pick to Dave in this week's Wikifiles. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, drop us a like, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and Spotify so you don't miss out. We're here every Sunday at just past 10 a.m, even on international breaks. But now over to my co-host, all the way from Singapore, it's Mr. David Nichols. Hello, Dave.
Hello, mate.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm not bad. Not bad, thank you. We've been having a lot of... I'd say our chat this week has all been golf, not football.
Yes, it's been pretty golf-centric. So what did you manage to collect this week in the...
I've got new clubs, yeah. I've got some new
clubs.
And that has taken over the chat of our group, really, our group of friends.
Yeah, it did get quite filthy, actually, the chat. I didn't realise golf clubs would elicit that response in 30-year-old men, but maybe it was just three of us were in lockdown in the UK. We're just trying to get what we can get. And, yeah, it was
exactly.
It was very enjoyable, and I'll be joining you soon. My clubs in the next week or so should be arriving, so I'll look forward to more of the same.
Yeah, I say we can do it all over again in the chat, and I can be on the receiving end of it this time and be like, "Oh my God, what's the loft? What's the loft?"
Yeah.
But yes, I'm good actually. Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you. Life's going well over here, to be honest.
We're almost at the end of January. It's amazing. The transfer window is 24 days in, and it's been pretty intense so far.
I mean, it's been pretty intense, and in terms of outgoings from the Premier League, it's generally stuff that could have happened any time in the year. So, because people are just being released left, right, and centre.
There's been a few transfers. So we've had Klaas-Jan Huntelaar has joined Schalke as almost like a little bit of a hero trying to come back and save a club. This one is. I like this.
I like this. I like the idea of it. I like Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. I've always had a little, for some reason, a soft spot for Schalke. Never know why, but I think lots of English football fans see Schalke as a sort of Fulham-esque of the Bundesliga. The best way to describe them. Like, everybody loves them.
Speaking on behalf of all the fans.
Yeah. I think I've got that power. I think as a podcast co-host, I feel I have that power. But I feel like, it's something I could get behind. Klaas-Jan Huntelaar, goal scorer for Schalke previously, goes back, scores goals to keep them up. It'll be brilliant.
I've always felt that kind of going back to help that's very much in my bones. That I always wanted a club to go, you know what, we're going to loan you some of our best players here, or our best young players, and really similar to what clubs sometimes do. I think Frank Lampard got a bit of that when he was at Derby, from some Mason Mount and Tomori joining.
100%.
He hasn't got a daddy to help him now. He had Abramovich to buy the players, and that didn't quite work. But yeah, speaking of that, Tomori to Milan.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Who saw it? Who saw that coming?
There weren't any rumours. Normally, there's a hint of a rumour, and there's someone picks up on it. It just goes to show you how much nonsense is spoken, because that has happened under the radar. Signs for Inter Milan. I mean.
AC, isn't it? It's AC?
Yeah, AC, yeah. So he signs into Milan, not Inter Milan.
God,
sorry.
You're testing me there.
No, he's gone to AC. Joins current league leaders AC Milan, even though they just lost. They recently lost.
Thrashed by Atalanta yesterday,
Yeah, so a very interesting one. there. Didn't see it coming.
I do enjoy an English player into foreign league, so I'll watch that one with a bit of interest. Another player into Milan, Mario Mandzukic, was on a free for a while. He joins in one of the most determined and kind of experienced front lines you can get, Mandzukic and Ibrahimovic. Have they ever paired up together before?
I don't think so.
No, I'm not sure. I don't feel like they have, but I feel like there's a lot of controlled aggression there.
Yeah, I feel like it could be... I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Mandzukic is like a left-wing forward, though, isn't he? He's played quite out on the left quite a lot.
He'll be there in a supporting role, yeah.
So it could be good. I mean, it could be a case of them thinking, well, if Ibra gets him injured, we don't actually have anyone to step in to do a similar sort of job. So it could be Mandzukic just in as a backup. But he got touted around a lot, didn't he? United last summer. Spurs were in for a little bit.
I think there's a Mourinho link. I think he was just a decent player. He was never he did score one of the great Champions League final goals, albeit didn't make any difference. But yeah, he's a decent player, and yeah, I think it'd be quite interesting. I mean, it's not exactly the longevity, but I mean, Milan and now Ibrahimovic and Mandzukic. There's a bit of forward planning needed there, but if they were
Well,
looking for the league this year,
I mean, to be fair to them, the rest of their signings, if you check them out from last summer, are all pretty young, like from Scandinavia, Norway, like Belgium. They've sort of went out and was like, right, our budget's 10 million, but who can we get that's the best in the leagues that no one else might appreciate? So they went to like the Norwegian First Premier Division. They went to the Eredivisie. They went to the Belgian First Division, and they picked up all of these players from the top clubs, Molde, Anderlecht. Well, not quite the top clubs in Eredivisie, but like the step down like Feyenoord and things like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and then just one into the Premier League. Wolves have signed William Jose or Jose, I'm not quite sure, but that's a little bit of a bit of good news for Wolves. Obviously, they've been without Jimenez for a little bit now, and he probably will be out for the season, and that gives them a similar player. Yeah, he has some similar traits. He kind of is that kind of more all-round, not so much defensively. He's an all-round kind of forward and a bit more experience. Obviously. They've lacked that kind of experience leading the line, so that should be a little bit of a good feel around the club now. They've got that a player in who can help lead the line.
Yeah, so hopefully.
But the club I wanted to talk about in the transfer window.
Go on then.
Another transfer which went under the radar, and this is the club Matt Ryan to Arsenal.
Yeah, I know. I didn't see it coming out from anywhere, but I quite like it.
So Matt Ryan I've always liked, and this season's been a bit strange for him. He's dropped down to like third choice. I mean, Jason Steele, is it Jason Steele, who I remember from the Sunderland Till I Die documentary? He was just, I mean, he just came across as a bad goalkeeper in that match.
Just came across as bad.
Sorry, and Matt Ryan's dropped beneath him. I don't know if there's something behind the scenes, but he had some poor performances, got dropped, and he just was never in contention. But I mean, Arsenal had, I think it was Runarsson, was it? As their backup goalkeeper after selling Emi Martinez, and I mean Runarsson was just, I'm not sure he's actually a goalkeeper. There's a bit of Ali Dyer about him, but yeah, Matt Ryan, he's got some talent. But Arsenal don't mind a little transfer like this. Like when they signed Cedric Suarez from Southampton, it was like, okay, that's weird, but it's not bad. It's just not great.
Matt Ryan's up there as a number 2. I think he'll be amazing for Arsenal. I think he's a step up from what they've got. I think he's been done dirty by Brighton. I don't, like you say, there must be something else behind the scenes because he's a good goalkeeper. He is a good goalkeeper.
Experienced, yeah.
So experienced, and I've liked him. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. And he didn't even play. We'll get onto the FA Cup later, but he didn't play in the FA Cup. I don't know if he wasn't signed in time, but he didn't. He didn't play. So.
But the bit I want to pick up about Arsenal is that just how bad they are at getting rid of players. So, obviously, Ozil being released. We've had, I think, Sokratis has been released this window. The same looks like it's going to happen for Louise and Mustafi, who are out of contract at the end of the season. I mean, I look back a little bit further, I think even Alexis Sanchez it was a swap deal, wasn't it? I mean, so they swapped him for Mkhitaryan, who then went on pennies to
Roma.
In footballing terms, to Roma. I mean, I looked at okay, what about the big players they've had? RVP was a pretty cut price deal to United. Was it like 20 million or something like that? 90 million?
Yeah.
But you think, okay, who's their best players in recent times? Henry didn't go for mega bucks to Barcelona. Fabregas didn't go for mega. Do you know who their record outgoing transfer is?
Oh, I don't know. You must be going back a bit of time. I'd probably say someone like Vieira or that era. Maybe like a...
Vieira, again, only went for 18 million to Juventus. Not big. Their record outgoing, according to Transfer Market, is Mark Overmars.
I was about to swear. That takes me by surprise. That really does. Mark Overmars.
Oxlade-Chamberlain was a good... I think it's in terms of initial fee. So it won't be obviously got sold for decent money. Oxlade-Chamberlain, even Emi Martinez. I mean, Emi Martinez was a bit fortunate he went for good money. They were forced into playing him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ox and it won't be sold for better money. But I think it's almost like they hold on to them for too long. We just don't really, in the hope that they're going to sign that final deal, like they have done with Aubameyang.
Yeah.
And they leave themselves bent over a little bit because Ozil one, no one wants to, and Sanchez, they leave themselves on such high wages that no one wants to sign them. But it just surprised me. I saw the Overmars bit first, and I was like, oh come on. I mean, I look back, I was like, oh, they're not making great outward deals, and they're just kind of cutting their losses, which is not what I mean. It's not great for a club who's dropping out of the Champions League into Europa League, maybe dropping out of Europa League, getting knocked out of domestic cups, and yeah, it just kind of struck me as a bit of a weak link there.
Yeah. A quick question in chat: how much did Adebayor go to Man City?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
I'd say he's probably up there in like the top 10, but I don't.
Like
I think
20 million?
I'd say like 25 or something like that.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, there is that thing with Arsenal. They've always been. The opposite of a selling club. I don't know what you would call that. Like Southampton, you sort of see them as a selling club. They build up this talent and then make huge profit, whereas Arsenal seem to keep the talent going. I mean, you can argue Sanchez, they got quite a good deal because it was a swap deal for Mkhitaryan. Sanchez did bugger all on really expensive wages. At least they got money for Mkhitaryan. But yeah, it's an interesting one with Arsenal. They just don't really do enough in the transfer market to sell.
Well, yeah, you look at compared to Chelsea, who are just seemingly the masters of selling off their own players. And
Do you think it comes with? Do you think it comes with the success though? So if Arsenal had been more successful, I'm not saying they're not successful. They've won the FA Cup numerous times. They have won the Premier League. But if they had Liverpool, all of a sudden Liverpool win the Premier League, and people like Jordan Ibe, Solanke are worth 20 million. Chelsea win the league a few times and are always challenging in and around that area, and their players have better value because people think, well, they're coming from a Champions League challenging team in the actual competition, going to finals, semi-finals, quarter-finals.
Yeah.
And Arsenal haven't had that for a while. So is it the club sort of rep or ethos
Well, yeah,
of the
if you're
club?
on a downward trend, therefore you value the players maybe on a downward spiral as well. Maybe. Yeah.
I think even if you think about the likes of Bellerin, when he was first linked to like PSG, it was like 30, 35, 40 million. And now he's not. I know he's had a big injury and he's just coming back, but there's no
Yeah, and you
real.
also have a COVID aspect affecting transfer.
Yeah,
fees.
true,
Yeah.
true. But Arsenal were at a bit more of a peak then.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting thing to bring up.
Okay.
News. I've got some news. So would you argue one of our favourite defensive pragmatic managers is back on the market? Rafa Benitez, is he a favourite
Yeah, I'd say
pragmatic
so. Like
manager?
Rafa.
Yeah. Thoughts?
Thoughts were immediately think who could get him, and so
Newcastle.
I thought Newcastle. Would he want to go back there? I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought temporary role at Chelsea maybe.
Maybe. I
Yeah,
don't
the
think he would
season.
take another temporary.
Yeah, I think he. But then I thought. I mean, I put just personally. I put a cheeky little £1 bet on this. Celtic.
Yeah, I think Celtic could be. I think Eddie Howe's now a bit nervous that he's not going to get that job.
Yeah. So Eddie Howe. I think I originally a number of weeks ago now I was like, I think would be a good fit at Celtic, or like Celtic might think he's a good fit because I'm not sure he would be a good fit. Would be Eddie Howe, and it's just continued to. I would have thought they'd have twisted by now. It's been getting from bad to worse for Celtic. I'd have thought they'd have done something about it.
Yeah.
But now that Rafa Benitez is on the market, and Rafa Benitez obviously before the Newcastle job, you maybe would have said he wouldn't have gone to Celtic, but he's taken a Newcastle job, which is he was too good for.
Yeah.
His reputation was too good for. He did an okay job there, and then he went to China. I just feel like I think he would want that Celtic job, maybe the same way Brendan Rodgers wanted that Celtic job.
Yeah.
But obviously, Brendan Rodgers got the kind of Northern Irish kind of link there as a kind of the Celtic Northern Irish link, but
it can be used as a
that steeped in history, and
yeah.
I mean, Rafa versus Gerrard would be a lovely little.
That would be very interesting. That would be really interesting. Well, I think Celtic can be that sort of reputation booster for someone like you say, Rafa, who's gone
you're
Newcastle
getting
China.
into Champions League football. You're challenging for titles. It's a nice little area for a manager to go. I'm not sure it's a great training ground for players, but as managers, it's a good little training ground. I'd say a good little. Or a bit of a shop window, I'd say.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I think definitely. Yeah, I think so. I'd love to see him back in the Premier League, though. I would like to see him. He's a weird one, Rafa, and he's a little wily little manager, and I want to get him in. I like his little media comments. Ever since he had his old fact lists against Man United, and it just makes me interested to see what he's up to. So, how long was he in? 18 months, I want to say, in China?
How
About
long's
that?
Bruce been at Newcastle? Yeah, about
Year
that,
and a
yeah.
half? Yeah, about a year and a half. So, for Dalian or whatever their name is. But yeah,
Yes.
interesting. So, another quick question. If Levy was at Arsenal, would they be more successful at transfers?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. Well,
They
Levy,
wouldn't have paid £72 million for Pepe.
no, he
That's
is
for sure.
dire. And they wouldn't have signed Willian on a free. So,
Yeah, just it still baffles me. So I actually had this in my kind of Arsenal Southampton bit of a review later. It's like, who's the worst transfer, Willian or Pepe? And I mean, you've got to probably say Pepe because you paid £72 million for him, but he was also coming back off the back of a decent season with Lille, inflated by penalties. But I mean, a lot of people could see what Arsenal were getting with Willian, and Chelsea fans are going, "Don't do it," and
yeah.
they're paying massive wages for him, and it's just. But I mean, I'm Reece Nelson there, but you got Bukayo Saka there, who was already. And if you already got Bukayo Saka, who's can play in a number of positions, and you've got Pepe, why are you signing Willian as well? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
I
it's
think the
awful.
other saving grace of the Pepe deal is that they are paying it over a long period of time. It's like quite a lot of money over
I don't
five
know. That would
years.
just make me sad. That it's like if you, I know you're still paying out on something that you've actually disposed of. It's
Yeah,
kind of like
true. Yeah, that's true.
I'm still paying this off years after I've had it. I just want it done. Can I just pay it and forget about it soon enough, please?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, very true. Yeah, very true. Actually, yeah. Scrap that last comment.
Still
Scrap
paying
that from the
instalments on
record.
the TV that broke. So, oh God, can I
Yeah,
just forget about this? Oh.
exactly. Yeah.
But
So
let's talk a bit about midweek football then. So we had a midweek midweek Premier League action. Let's
yeah,
start with your club, Fulham United. Good win. I watched the most of this match, and Fulham have really turned a corner. I think they played some decent football. Got at you a little bit. There's a few. I mean, right at the end there, the Bailly deflected past the
absolute basket
post.
case, Eric Way. But anyway.
Yeah. But Loftus Cheek and Lookman are good players,
Yeah.
but you found a way.
Well, it was quite interesting. I'm not sure if it was your tweet I read or someone else tweeted to say that it's quite interesting to see loads of people laughing at Man United being 1-0 down to Fulham as if they're not going to come back and give it make a game of it. Like everyone was just assuming it was over. But yeah, I know Pogba's turned it on a bit. Whether it's because it's
Is
a
this
January and it's
is this a transfer window one, or the fact that he can smell a little bit of a title maybe?
yeah, I think he knows that if United win a title, I think people have accepted he's eventually going to leave somewhere. He's going to go somewhere, Paul Pogba. He's going to go somewhere. And I think he thinks if he can win a title at Man United, it's going to up his reputation. And he can say, look at these games that I played in when we won that title.
Mm.
Because the chances are, if we do sell him, or when we sell him, that money won't get reinvested into another world-class central midfielder to replace him or a world-class player. It would be spread around a little bit or something. And we won't win a league 2 years in a row. It will be Man City, Liverpool. And it gives that Pogba boost again. Well, they can't do it without me, and I help them do it. Part of me still thinks it's a transfer window. I mean, everything's sort of... It's a transfer window. It's the second half of the season with the Euros at the end of it. And he can smell a title. I think put all three of those together and you get the best out of Pogba because it's a way to show off his talent to cement his place in the France Euro, favourites probably. France for the Euros, probably favourites after winning the World Cup and all that. Like, favourites for that, winning a title, transfer window.
Yeah.
Get things in motion. So
Yeah. Just quick mention of your front line. It's not fully firing, is it? It's not. It's
no, but I
firing
think
in parts. So you got Cavani getting in on the act a little bit. You got Rashford doing bits, but Martial, Greenwood's.
no, and I
Yeah.
think that's why it was. The Cavani transfer, I was a fan of it anyway for something different. He's a goal scorer. I think it was still, at the time, I think I said, it's a good signing. It just should have been done right at the beginning of the transfer window because it was clearly he's not your first choice. But I think that's why we needed to bolster it. And I think I'm quite excited to see Amid Diallo, who apparently is already training with the first team. He hasn't gone to the under-23s, the new signing from Atalanta. Greenwood needs to up it a little bit, but he's still young. Rashford's firing. And it seems to be that someone's always firing, and that's fine for a front
it's
three.
the thing. You've got an array of options.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the England 11. I think from an outside looking in, I try and pick like an England 11, and I've WhatsApp chats going, oh, would this player fit in? I've got a question for you later on. Would this player make the starting 11? It doesn't really pick itself. There's
Yeah,
options you can kind of go, oh well, so you've got that variety rather than like Spurs, for example. It picks itself,
yeah.
and then maybe the third person up front it doesn't, but the two of them pick themselves. Whereas I'm not quite sure it's the same for Man United, which is
I
it's
think
not necessarily negative, but it's also not an overwhelming positive.
yeah, I think in the front three, I think they pick themselves, but there's options if they're not working. That's the difference. I think I think if Solskjaer could say everybody's on top form, his front three would be Rashford on the left, Martial through the middle, and Greenwood on the right. But because they're not on top form, it can be rotated. Because if we're playing someone, even the likes of Dan James, I'm not saying he's a good footballer, but you know what you're going to get from him. Chuck him on. Chuck him on in the last 20 minutes of a game against a team that's just been solidly defending, or you're 1-0 up and they're trying to really score. Chuck Dan James on for the counter attack. Just use his pace.
You know what? It's just popped in my head. A Dan James Pepe comparison in terms of goal contributions.
I'd like to see that. Thank you for the answer on Timo Werner as well. Disappointing to see those stats. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, a good win for United. That sent you top of the league again, did it? The win.
Yes, but Man City can still go top with their games in hand. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Let's talk about a side who we were talking about in title push. Well, it seems like weeks ago now, and now we're just 2 points ahead of Arsenal. I think Leicester, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny one. I think Leicester were just better in almost every aspect. It was just a pretty dominant performance. Fofana again, just showing Fofana and Evans. Evans still surprised me. He went for such low money to Leicester when I talk about poor outgoing sales. I mean, what were Man United thinking? It's sold for like 5 million or something to Leicester at the time. It's not like that was market value. That was low.
Yeah. It was
over some like gentleman's agreement or something. But yeah, that's a partnership that's a solid partnership.
So I think a lot of people thought that was the nail in the head, wasn't it? Nail on the head for Lampard at Chelsea. That result is sort of
still going. Still, maybe if he loses to Luton today, maybe that would be. But Leicester. Sorry. So it was Chelsea first. So we have, probably one of Chelsea's greatest ever players probably getting a sack. Do you reckon how do you reckon fans will feel about Lampard then? Do you reckon they completely differentiate the two? Or
yeah.
Just still think of it, or will it tarnish it?
From what I can see on social media, which is never a good barometer to use, but social media seems to be that Chelsea are currently going through the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer thing from about 8 or 9 months ago, which is you get half of them which are Lampard in, you've got to give him time. I know he's had a lot of money, but he needs to gel the players, and then you've got people that are like, well, Lampard out because he spent all that money and he's had time to gel the players, and it's never going to work because he's not training them properly, not teaching them properly, whatever, coaching them. I think as a club, I think it would hurt Abramovich's reputation a bit with the fans. But then if let's say if he sacks Lampard and brings in Allegri,
Gerrard,
Gerrard, yeah.
He couldn't get him as a player. He brings him in as manager.
Yeah, I mean, if whoever he brings in, I don't think they will go for Allegri. I think he's too defensive. But whoever they bring in, I think it doesn't matter if he sack Lampard and whoever they bring in wins the title. Well, brilliant. That's it, isn't it? Well, they've won the title, so obviously Abramovich was right and Lampard was rubbish. It's a weird situation with Chelsea and Abramovich because you just don't. I mean, this is a guy that Di Matteo won the Champions League and then was sacked 3 months in, and a guy that promoted Avram Grant to manager who got them to the Champions League final and then sacked him.
Sometimes you can't see the method in the madness, but it has worked. Yeah, I agree.
So,
favourite bit from this match was James Maddison's post-match interview. I don't know if you've seen this. It was just
bits and pieces.
It was just like it was excellent. It was an excellent interview. He was real, so it wasn't the cliches. It had tactical discussion, it had humour, it had honesty. It also had some cliche because he was like, got to have a next game as a final. But it was really, really good. And I've never been the biggest James Maddison fan. I heard bad things about him at his Coventry and his Norwich days. I've been a bit arrogant outside of football, but maybe I'm going to getting on the bandwagon a little bit. He's in some good form,
Yeah.
and that was a refreshing interview.
So are you going from
Concerned for
Mason Mount suburb striker to James Maddison suburb striker?
maybe suburb striker, yeah. They can do it together. See if there's a little relationship there. I mean, I know there was a Madison and Chilwell were good friends, weren't they?
Yeah,
But
true.
that seems very suburb striker. Vardy now is being operated on I don't know, as we speak. He's out for a few weeks of undergoing surgery on a hernia issue, I think it is. How do you reckon that's going to affect Leicester? They seem to have done. I mean, the goals of Harvey Barnes and James Maddison have been in the goals. But it's just a little bit. It changes approach, doesn't it? It's just if Vardy's in the lineup, he might not perform, but he's in the lineup. It affects defenders' thinking. He's not in the lineup. It affects.
I think that's
how you play. I think.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I'd have is that when you see if it's Iheanacho or Perez, I don't think the defence will be as scared, and I think it's the fact that midfielders can score goals, but I don't think you should ever be relying on midfielders to score you goals. You shouldn't go into a game thinking our midfield are going to score us 2 goals or our wing forwards are going to score us 2 goals. Whereas with Vardy, you could go into it and be like, there's a chance Jamie Vardy's going to score at least 1 in this game, a high chance. And yeah, it's that mental thing of that I just don't feel like Iheanacho and Perez have that scare factor against other defences.
God, no. Nowhere near.
And then you are relying on midfielders to do it, and that's never a good place to be. But yeah, they're coping all right at the moment. It wouldn't surprise me if you saw someone like a Maddison play as a false 9 up front.
I can see Harvey Barnes. You're right.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes is probably a better one.
He's got that bit more physicality. I can see him maybe being tried up there.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, let's go on to probably the biggest shock of the season week. I don't know. This is Liverpool v Burnley, and the 68 game unbeaten streak at home comes to an end against Sean Dyche's Burnley. And we were speaking about Burnley. How are they going to do it? Maybe they're what's the opposite of a fair weather team? They're a poor weather team. The winter comes and Burnley go, these are my conditions. Yeah, we're feeling it now. And we also slated Ashley Barnes. I think it was even just as last week.
It was.
He just wins tactical fouls and he's not offering a goal threat. I mean, he did kind of win a tactical foul and was a goal threat, but
yeah, exactly. He won a tactical foul that gave him the best goal threat. It gave him a penalty. But yeah, it was a foul. I think it was definitely a foul, definite penalty.
Well, my issue was with Fabinho's pullback, but there probably should have been a card or red and would be missing against Spurs, personally. But...
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think, it was a good penalty, well taken penalty. Ashley Barnes, he did well. It's only, I still think our criticism was fair because it's his 2nd goal of the season.
Yes, don't get me wrong. It's more we mentioned him last week, and then he hasn't proved us wrong.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
Now. And he did an interview after the match, which was as bad as Madison's were good. It was just cliche after cliche. It's like, you think about the next game. Yeah, the goal was important, but the win was more important. It's like,
it's about the 3 points.
Just pressing buttons, it was an automated response. Liverpool 1 goal in 5 games, 87 shots without a goal.
And I text a Liverpool supporting friend of mine in a football group we've got, and I mentioned it. Obviously I ousted him as the Liverpool fan, so I put at his name, and I went, called him out, and I was like, has it got to the point now where Liverpool, instead of utilising crosses as a weapon, are now just whacking crosses into the box no matter where they are, who's in the box, what's going on, and it now is not very good.
Oh, it seems like devoid of ideas.
Yeah.
Other sides get criticised for pumping the ball into the box, and it seems like it's always presented like a really rudimentary tactic. Liverpool's, I think, has been a rudimentary tactic, but the deliveries are from excellent players, and Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson are both great crosses of the ball, so it has more clout. But I think they've always been over-reliant on their fullbacks throughout this Klopp era.
His comeback was the fact that missing Van Dijk with his passing out of the back does change the element of the surprise they've got, because he was like, if you look back at the stats and the number of balls that went from like Van Dijk to Firmino to hold up to then bring the wingers into play and sort of create the space for other people to run into isn't there anymore, because Matip can't do it Fabinho probably could do it, but is at centre back, so isn't right. So I sort of understand that, but he more avoided my question about whether the crosses were just now useless.
I mean, Salah is off the pace. Salah is at the top of the goal scoring chart, and I think almost half of the penalties. So you got as much. They are obviously goals still, but I think you do have to look at the two separate because because other players might not be on penalty duty, and therefore you need to look at it. And he's just not getting the chances he was, or creating the chances was, because a lot of his was self-creation as well. He was a master of finding some space and putting the ball in the top corner. But he's down.
Is it sort of coming back to bite Liverpool not having another option for Firmino? I mean, you've got Divock Origi, but he is more of a winger. I think he's more of a.
He's just more of a not good enough player. He was through clear on goal here.
Yeah.
And hit the bar. It's not good enough.
Do they need like a Cavani? We were talking about Man United.
Well,
earlier.
I don't know. They did, but obviously Jota was brought in, but I think the criticism there is that they were the lack of rotation. They were playing. Not lack of rotation. They played strong sides in meaningless matches.
Yeah.
Like they played a strong side against a Villa in the third round of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So, well, why are you doing that? Are you doing that to prove a point, Klopp? And Klopp, has got that kind of aggression to him. And we saw in this match with the Dyche Klopp. And Klopp's come across as a really poor loser to me in this. But yeah, the Dyche Klopp tunnel debacle. There's a little bit of back and forth there. Yeah, incident. I'm not quite sure what was said.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, neither of them's really come out and said what was said. Dyche was just like, it shows that we can come here and
that stuff.
Yeah.
Years to come, we'll find out who threw the pizza.
Fabregas. He admitted it, didn't he, Fabregas?
He did on League of Their Own. He admitted it.
Yeah.
Well, talking about the Dyche Klopp manager tete-a-tete leads us nicely into this week's quiz.
Yeah, just before the quiz, Josh, someone has mentioned in the chat something that I wanted to bring out, and you didn't give me time. Johnny Evans was signed to West Brom from Man United, not straight to Leicester.
Yes,
but I was trying to get in there, but you just carried on ploughing.
I didn't really. I wasn't cutting off on purpose. But that was. I'm right. It was a low fee, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very low. Yeah. They didn't put the fee in there, but 2015, Johnny Evans went from Man United to West Brom. So
I'm intrigued to then know what was the fee that Leicester paid.
A free transfer, I think.
Was it free?
I'm pretty sure.
What is that? How is that guy? Obviously, had like 5 million spent on him.
Yeah, I know.
I've seen.
So, I know that you had a very good segue into the quiz, but we've got questions. We've got questions in the chat.
It's just I'll take
it. Is Klopp feeling the pressure?
Oh yeah.
Like how badly you think he's really feeling the pressure?
I am. Take a look at this way. I am excited about today's FA Cup match. It's on BBC. It's going to get a massive viewing, and I just hope there is touchline. I want to see a mass brawl.
Yeah.
I want to see Klopp. I want to see. I mean, he will tear Solskjaer apart, but I want to see cracking.
I'll tell you what. Klopp versus oh my god, my name's gone blank. Our assistant manager, bald guy.
Harry.
Our assistant? No, he's not our assistant manager, is he? Mike Phelan. Klopp v Mike Phelan.
I mean, I've stood next to Mike Phelan.
Have you?
He's a short man.
Yeah, short and scrappy.
Mike Phelan. No, he's too small. Klopp's a sizable man.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I'll keep that in mind.
You will keep that in mind, right?
That sounded dirty, didn't it? I'll keep that in mind.
Well, that's in the bank.
Right, there's quiz, and then we'll review the FA Cup games. Go then.
Right. Ooh, la 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 la. It's quizzing time. Right. Below, you'll see 10 questions that relate to the current Premier League managers, inspired by the Dyche Klopp debacle, and inspired somewhat by my question around, is Big Sam the biggest manager? I've formulated 10 questions on current Premier League managers. So, Dave, do you understand the quiz? Let's make sure you understand first.
I think I understand the quiz. There's 20 managers.
There are 20 managers.
And they have a question each? Well,
no.
They're the answer to a question.
It's based on those 20 Premier League managers. They will form. It is limited to those managers. So right. I will read these out for you so you can just think rather than having to read. So, 3 British managers have managed outside of UK and Ireland. Who are they? So there are 3 British managers in the Premier League. There's more than that, but 3 of them have managed outside of UK and Ireland. Who are they?
Ooh. David Moyes.
David Moyes. Do you care to add the country or the club?
Real Sociedad, España.
Yes.
3 British managers managed outside the UK and Ireland.
I offered Dave the list of the 20 Premier League managers as a prompt for this.
He did.
In case he wanted it, and he declined. So.
Oh no, because that's their British managers. Yeah, sorry. I was about to say Carlo Ancelotti.
Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah. Right. Who? Roy Hodgson.
Roy Hodgson, correct.
I'll go into Milan.
Yes,
Italy.
He's got a lot of clubs.
Yeah. And I feel like they're obviously going to be a bit older, is what I'm going to say.
Oh.
Going to go older. I'm just talking through my thought process so that it's not dead air. Let's have a think here. So, Pards isn't in the Premier League anymore. Shame.
Thank goodness.
Oh, come on, Dave. You can do this. You can do this. This is question 1.
Question 1. But you've got 2 out of 3 so far.
Can I come back to the 3rd manager? Is that allowed?
You can come back to the 3rd manager. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
All right. We'll go to the next question. Who is the tallest manager in the Premier League?
Do you know? I think Carlo Ancelotti is quite tall.
Do you?
I do think he's quite tall, but Big Sam is quite tall. Bielsa's tall, I think.
I've got it here, Dave.
I know you have.
I've got all the heights right here.
I'm gonna go Carlo Ancelotti, who is my first guess.
Carlo Ancelotti? No, it is not Carlo Ancelotti.
Who is?
Carlo Ancelotti isn't actually very tall at all.
No?
He's in the bottom half of the.
I thought he was a
Carlo
centre back.
He's a mere 179. He's just kind of just under 6 foot, about 5'11", something like that.
Okay, so Jurgen Klopp's pretty tall. He'll be my second guess.
Jurgen Klopp is number 1. He is the tallest of the tall.
Should have taken your clue before. Should have taken the hint.
6'4". Yeah, should have taken that clue.
6'4".
6'4".
Bloody hell! I didn't think he was that tall.
Tear Ole apart. Ole is the same size, or similar size to Ancelotti, I think. Yeah, Ole's a little bit shorter than Ancelotti, it says here.
Yeah.
Centimetres shorter.
Yeah.
That's probably not allowing for the age shrinkage that happens when you're a little bit older. You shrink,
Which is
don't you?
going to influence my answer on the next one.
Okay, who is the shortest
I mean,
manager?
my instinct was Roy Hodgson because of his age.
Okay. Because of his age, yeah.
Let me have a think here. Oh, now see, Graham Potter. I have no idea how tall Graham Potter is.
Mm. It's got a long face though, so maybe that adds...
Yeah, it's got a long face, and he stands next to like Dan Burn all the time. So
True. Yeah, it's really confusing. Very hard. But if you stand next to Lamptey, it's like, oh, he's a giant.
Yeah, I'm going Roy. Roy Hodgson.
Roy Hodgson, no. Roy Hodgson is between Solskjaer and Ancelotti.
Who's the shortest?
It is actually. Well, I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it in case
okay.
people want to have a little time to think about it. All right. We have next up. What 3 managers have managed an international team?
Oh, Hodgson, Big Sam. That's 2 straight off the bat.
Straight off the bat, done well there.
And I should have left them in the bank. I should have left one of them in the bank and not been so confident. Right. This is me going through. I'm thinking in my head. I don't think Ancelotti's ever done it. Again, it's got to be one of the older statesmen. It can be any international team, can't it? So they could have been a random.
I think this guy's actually done 2 international teams.
Oh, really?
Mm. Yeah, so Hodgson has managed 4 international teams.
Yeah.
Allardyce has managed 1, and this other person has managed 2.
So 2, which means they've got to be of the older generation of manager.
Oh yeah, I'll give you that. He is. Let me tell you his age. He is 66.
Oh my word. Two. It's very rare that you're in the Premier League with two.
Yeah, he's the second. I mean, yeah, you're right. All three of these are the three eldest in the league.
Yeah.
So
Who is
that's
an
an
old
interesting
manager
idea.
in the league? I definitely should have kept the name of the managers there.
Yeah, that would have helped a
Oh,
lot, wouldn't it?
100%. It would have massively helped, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, we'll leave you there, Dave. We'll leave you there.
yeah, I'll come back to that one as well.
Okay. All right.
It'll come to me.
Which manager was a former goalkeeper or a
Uh,
goalkeeper in his playing
Nuno
days?
Espirito Santo. Nuno Espirito Sant gone?
Nuno Espirito Santo going. Okay. Only three managers have managed the same club twice. Can you name them?
David Moyes,
Dave Moyes at.
West Ham, West Ham.
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm doing a chant there. West Ham, West Ham.
Oh, you're going to sing it. New York, New York.
I assume it's the same Premier League club twice, yeah?
They all have played in the Premier League. I don't know if the managerial stint was in the Premier League.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, I know the first two are, but the third one, I'm not sure. I've got a feeling was outside the Premier League, one of them.
Okay.
Think of that. If you only had that list of
Are you
20
allowed? Are
names,
you
it
including
stands out.
temporary jobs or not? Like Scott Parker was temporary manager before Fulham gave him the job. No, so two actual different stints. Okay.
Yeah, there's literally time like away from the club between these.
Okay. Again, what?
Think of all those people screaming at you.
Every question, and I'm like, Carlo Ancelotti must be the answer. I don't know why. That's
It is not the answer.
No.
Carlo Ancelotti, I can rule Carlo Ancelotti out.
yeah. Well, he did Chelsea and Everton, but he didn't do any of them twice.
Dave dropping knowledge here.
Yeah, knowledge, useless knowledge that you don't need. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So-
The most basic of knowledge. Yeah, because Carlo Ancelotti is actually a Premier League manager.
The same club twice. I mean, I don't think Big Sam has managed West Brom before. Only three managers managed the same club twice.
Oh, sorry, it's four actually.
Oh,
I made a note for this. It's actually four because I'll admit to that. But
That doesn't help me because I can't even think of two. I've only got one.
no, but just in case.
So a current Premier League manager.
Yeah, so we have Moyes doubled up at West Ham. Yes, correct. The other two of them were originally there, are English clubs. The other one is a current Premier League manager, but he's managed two clubs outside of the Premier League twice.
Ah, okay. I mean that doesn't help me, but yeah. I thought you meant
We'll move on to that one as
I
well.
thought you meant current Premier League managers had managed one team in the Premier League twice, like David Moyes, West Ham.
Yeah. So two of them are that.
And they're current Premier League managers.
Yeah, current Premier League manager. All four of these answers are current Premier League managers. Yeah,
Oh,
four of the 16, 4 of the 20. But we'll rather than leave you scrabbling around there, we'll go on.
Yeah.
Who is the youngest manager in the Premier League?
I mean, Mikel Arteta?
Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey?
Yeah.
Well done, Dave.
I was very close to
this
saying
is-
Frank Lampard.
This is two managers' first managerial job. Who are they?
Scott Parker.
Yeah.
It's got to be another old boys club, isn't it? It's got to be... Oh, Mikel Arteta.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well done, Dave. You're getting close to 50% here.
Come on!
6 managers have appeared for their country as players. Can you name them?
Frank Lampard.
Yes.
Scott Parker.
Yes.
Ollie Solskjaer.
Yes.
Nuno Espirito Santo in goal? No, he didn't play for Portugal. Okay. So I've got 3 of them. I mean, Am I allowed guesses? Am I allowed to guess? Because I'm struggling.
Yeah, have a little quick fire. You can.
I mean, like
quick fire.
Ancelotti for Italy.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is one.
Um,
2 more. One, I'd say, is more obvious than the other. One's an obvious one, maybe not so.
oh, Pep Guardiola.
Yes,
Did Mikel Arteta play for Spain?
he did
He
not.
didn't. Okay. So I'm trying to just not rattle fire manager names. I'm actually trying to think logically rather than just name every Premier League manager I can think of. Oh, come on, I've got 5. I'm so close to this. Will this push me over 50% in a quiz?
You're already over 50%.
Oh, good.
No
Okay.
time.
I'm aiming for 60%.
You're over 60%.
Oh my word. Okay.
I've given you a point for that, so this is worth 6 points. This one.
Okay. Is this someone you wouldn't
Somewhat
really
generously.
expect to have played international football?
I think this is more. No, I don't think. I don't think there's any knowledge of it really. I think maybe a bit of more of an obscure nation, maybe a lesser nation that he's played for.
Okay, interesting. Let's go for a lesser obscure nation. Now I can't think of any managers that played at lesser obscure nations. Come on, Dave. You've got knowledge in your head that is useless.
I'm gonna draw a line there, Dave.
Okay.
That's enough.
So I've got one more to get in that question.
One more to get there. We'll go for what 3 managers have managed a Welsh club or in Wales?
So managed in. Oh, that's a bit of a trick question, isn't it? Solskjaer and Brendan Rodgers did Cardiff and Swansea. And why is it always the last one that I can never get? Who else has managed Swansea? Because it must only be Swansea.
Well, you're not going to get the wrong answer first, are you?
Yeah. Yeah, very true, yeah. I assume this is a trick question for something like always around Swansea and Cardiff, but
It is another Swansea manager.
who managed Swansea? I wanted to say Graham Potter, but
It is Graham
is it Graham Potter? Yeah.
It is
I,
Graham Potter,
for some reason
yeah.
I was doubting myself that he managed Swansea. Okay, so what are we missing?
So you need the 3rd British manager who's managed outside of UK and Ireland. You need a shortest manager. You need the other international team manager. You need 3 more managers who've doubled up on a club.
Okay.
And you need the 6th player, manager who played for their international side.
Right. So, question 6. 3 managers manage the same club twice. Can you name them? I'm going with Ollie Solskjaer at Mould.
Yes.
Okay. And then I had another manager whose first job it is. Was that one of them?
You got that. That was
Oh,
Arteta
I've got both
Parker.
of them, yeah.
Yeah.
We had 3 managers manage an international team.
Yep.
So I got Hodgson and Sam Allardyce.
Yep.
Bielsa.
Yes.
Shortest manager.
I was surprised by this. He doesn't seem like a short guy.
I'll go final answer is Scott. Final guess is Scott Parker.
No.
Who is
It's
it?
Brendan Rodgers.
Brendan Rodgers. All right.
Yeah, a mere 1.70
Oh wow, the man with the envelopes. I know who's going to mess
Yeah.
up this season.
He actually sleeps in an envelope.
Right, I think I'm going to. I think 3. So I've done. What questions haven't I done? 1,
1, 6, and 9.
1, 6, and 9. 6 managers appeared for their country as players. Oh yeah, this is the obscure nation.
Lampard, Parker, Pep, Ancelotti, Ole, and Ralph Hasenhüttl
Oh.
appeared for Austria.
Yeah, I was never going to get that.
It's Graham Potter is the other manager from outside of UK and Ireland. He was obviously at
Oh,
Österlen, is it,
yeah.
in Sweden. Yeah.
Oh,
And managers to have made the same club twice. You're going to kick yourself for one of them. Mourinho at Chelsea
oh, for God's sake.
and Steve Bruce at Wigan.
Do you know what? I was going to say Bruce. And then I just couldn't put the club to it. And I rattled through pretty much his whole career in my head, and I forgot the second stint at Wigan. I was like, right, Sunderland, Newcastle, Hull, whoever else he's bloody... bloody joke. Bloody Steve Bruce.
Steve
He's
Bruce.
always letting me
he
down.
shouldn't really be a Premier League manager.
Yeah, always letting me down, Steve Bruce. Right, let's have a quick look at the chat, see how everybody else... Oh my word, we've got lots of answers in the chat. Chameleon was in there with Potter. He had Potter and Moyes. Tallest manager, Big Sam. That was wrong. Arteta was smallest. That was wrong.
They're close though. They are right on the upper end and lower end of a scale.
Yeah.
They're
Nuno
close
was a
answers.
goalkeeper, so we got that right. Bielsa did Argentina and Chile. Jose got the
Correct.
Chelsea job twice. Ole did
Yeah.
Molde twice. Ancelotti played for Italy. Pep for Spain. Chameleon was in there. Maybe Bruce for a club at two. The manager for 2 stints.
Nice.
So yeah,
Yeah,
good shout. Ross Hassan Hutel, I think, played for Austria. So he's got that. But
Yeah, only like 8 times I think it wasn't many appearances.
unbelievable. A round of applause for everybody. Well done. Well done.
Yeah,
well done in the chat. You had a good answers there. Some good answers. Right. Let's go through the reviews then, Josh. Lead away.
Yeah, let's quickly talk around this weekend's football. So we're going to a couple of FA Cup matches and then obviously the Premier League match. Let's start off in the FA Cup, and this is more of a, I don't know, on a personal level I wanted to mention this. So Cheltenham Town versus Man City. So Cheltenham Town, a club close to my heart. So I don't know if I've mentioned before.
You have.
They form part of my favourite ever Championship Manager game, where I manage such legends as Jamie Victory, Mike Duff and Russell Milton. The latter are now a manager and assistant manager. So Mike Duff is our manager and Russell Milton is the assistant manager. Now, this is a bit I don't know if you know, Dave. Russell Milton was born and grew up in Folkestone.
I didn't.
He went to the Harvey Grammar School.
I didn't know that.
This is, for people who don't know, this is the town Dave and I grew up in, and the school that the secondary school Dave and I went to. He then went on to play. He was an Arsenal youth player. Went off to play in Japan and played with such players as Sokratis. And then found himself at Cheltenham, and that's where I managed him virtually. Now finds himself there. And I know this because a guy on my team at work was talking about his brother, who is involved in football, and I know, obviously, I knew the person's last name. I was like, "It's your brother, Russell Milton, the left winger for Cheltenham Town," and it turns out that is him, and that's how I found out about it at work.
So when's your signed Cheltenham shirt turning up?
I know. Oh, I mean, when's he coming on the pod?
Yeah, oh, even better. Yeah, sod your signed shirt. Yeah, get him on the pod. Yeah. Guest of the pod. Yeah. Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod, Russell Milton. Yeah. I can tell you about how I managed him in my Cheltenham side. He was key. He played with Onasimo and Bob Bloomer. But less of that. So I was intrigued by this match on Saturday night, and Cheltenham gave a very good account of themselves. Obviously, Cheltenham. We had Alfie May up front, who had played for Hivetown, which is another local side to us, and Ben Tozo. They've been through a difficult time. Ben Tozo at centre back. And Ben Tozer caused them trouble with his long throws, and it was quite interesting to watch. It was a good long throw. You'd be proud of it, Dave. Good. It was a lovely long throw. And they were 1-0 up to like the 80th minute, and I just put my kids to bed. I came back down, and it was like the 80th minute, and Cheltenham win. I was like, great, I'll watch for the last 10 minutes. Bit of an unlucky charm, because at that point onwards, Man City proceeded to score 3 goals.
They felt the pressure from their best ever virtual manager of Cheltenham.
Yeah, so, I know. I felt my eyes watching him. Like, Russell Milton was like, "Oh God, the gaffer's here."
Yeah.
But what I wanted to kind of talk about was, props to Cheltenham. Fantastic effort. Unlucky not to come away with a better result. But Man City. So they brought João Cancelo on, and he kind of changed the game a little bit. He's been a bit of a revelation now. He obviously signed for big money last summer before last. Took a time to adapt. Now is quite clearly just an incredibly talented attacking fullback, and created the equalising goal, scored by Phil Foden. So I wanted to ask you about Phil Foden and the England 11, Dave. Is he a starting player? Is he 100% going? Where does he kind of fit?
He's 100% going. 100% going. Is he starting? I think Southgate's the sort of manager that would depend on opposition.
Would you start him?
Don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know, because so much talent in that position. Madison, Mount,
that is where we have our
Grealish,
talent. Obviously, we have
Foden.
Talent up front, and that is honestly, there is a very good England 11 there somehow.
Yeah.
If you find the right balance. There something. It take a very good manager to get that balance because we're weak in goalkeeper and defence, strong, very strong at fullback, defensive central midfield a little bit weak, but very strong attacking midfield and up front. It's an unfortunate mismatch we've got,
Yeah.
and but yeah, there's a good player in there somewhere. But also Man City, Kevin De Bruyne is now out for a few weeks. We mentioned Leicester City's title charge with Vardy out, De Bruyne out for 4 to 6 weeks.
Great,
It opens up again, doesn't
great
it?
segue that, Josh, because the question in chat is who's the bigger miss for their club, Vardy or De Bruyne?
Ooh. Hmm.
Ross asked it much earlier on, and I copy and pasted it just now in the
Yeah.
chat so I can remember to ask it.
If Vardy was scoring more, he's been a bit. He's kind of been, I don't know, nurturing a little bit. He's not been. I'd say Vardy's a bigger miss because you look at the squad, you look at what they backup they've got nothing.
Yeah.
De Bruyne's had time out before, and like Bernardo Silva came to the forefront, and Foden even came in. I think I'd say Jamie Vardy's a bigger miss, but I still think that Man City will miss Kevin De Bruyne. You can't not. But I just feel that Vardy will be a bigger miss.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Any thoughts very quickly on Mendy?
Benjamin Mendy.
Yeah. Shocking, isn't he?
He's not the same player after his injuries. I don't think. Previously, when he first joined, I was like, "Whoa, this guy can attack." He was whipping in great balls, and he was kind of like they wouldn't play Mendy and Sane together because they're both quite wide players. So if one they would play one or the other. Now I just think he's just run of the mill left back. I wouldn't. If you asked me to name the best left backs in the league, I wouldn't put him anywhere near it. He's just okay.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to Southampton Arsenal and a 1-0 win for Southampton this match. Kyle Walker-Peters doing his best Spurs job there and undercover Spurs agent getting the somewhat fortuitous goal.
Giving us an OG.
OG really, yeah.
End,
But I mean, why I couldn't work out this? Why? I mean, Arsenal played not a second string, but they played. I mean, Willian, Pepe, and Nketiah played the full 90. They weren't taking it seriously.
Yeah, completely dropped Aubameyang as well in the squad.
You don't think they should have taken it more seriously?
I think they should have done, but I could understand why they might not have done. Because
they're hoping for in the league.
I think their focus is just to get points in the league. They want the strongest squad for the whole league, for every game available in the league, pretty much. And I think I could imagine they would have taken the approach of we just want to avoid any sort of injuries to big players in this game. But it was very strange to see it for a club that have made the FA Cup so prestigious in their recent history because of the amount of times they've won it when they haven't been challenging for the league. I thought it would have been a bit different, but it all just looked toothless from Arsenal. I mean, we've talked about Pepe, we've talked about Willian. This was one of the FA Cup games I actually did manage to see because it was on, I think, 12. Was it the 12 o'clock kickoff in the UK? So it's like 8 o'clock over here.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a bit. Arteta's Arsenal went through that stage of he's rubbish, no one knows what he's doing. Then it was like, oh, he's got a game plan, and now it's like he's overcomplicating things again. They're desperate to pass out from the back, but Rob Holding doesn't look like a sort of player that can do that. And the amount of times he gave the ball away trying to do a short pass in, the glimmer of hope was the younger players again who looked like they could do all right, but it's just. Willian was poor.
Coming in, isn't there?
Yeah, Willian was poor, new signing. Pepe was poor, recent new signing. Gabriel was shonky at the back, new signing. It just doesn't. It just doesn't look good.
No.
I'm glad. I can't speak for Arsenal fans.
With the Willian thing, we mentioned again. The Willian thing is like, if you were taking over Football Manager, you try and put him on the Josh Cole places Willian on the transfer list. Willian is not interested. He's just signed a new contract.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're like, oh god, can we not get out of this?
Yeah, but I'm not. It's I think the chat's coming up with some good comments on it. Yeah, like Arteta's is he being too clever? Arteta now is trying to be a bit too clever with the team and the formation and the tactics. They shouldn't have underestimated Southampton. I think they did. I think Arteta thought Southampton would rotate. I thought
I always wonder if there's pre-match discussions because so often both teams rotate. Rarely is one come in very much stronger than the other. I always feel that there's a bit of like just leak this, leak this across the old across no man's land and find out.
I don't think so. I don't believe that. I don't think that happens. No. Because Arteta would have got wind of it and definitely wouldn't have picked that team.
He's not experienced enough. He doesn't know the game.
That's true.
He's not
Yeah.
experienced enough. He's the youngest manager in the league, Dave.
That's true. He's trying to do it all through WhatsApp, and they're still faxing each other. So
yeah, no. Are you on? Yeah. Are you on what? You're not on WhatsApp. Oh, you're not on WhatsApp. Who's not on WhatsApp?
yeah. And Hassan Hoot was there being like, "What? You're not on CFAX? What?" But yeah, so I don't know.
That leads to one of the kind of traditional big six being knocked out, which is good to see. I like that in a cup competition when it's not Spurs.
Yeah.
All right, but we'll move on to the Premier League action then. So we had a bit of a catch-up match after, obviously, COVID postponements. We had Aston Villa Newcastle, the James Milner of derbies. 2-0 Aston Villa. There was just this. I mean, you mentioned toothless for Arsenal, blimey.
And it's
no wins in the last 10 for Bruce. What does it take for him to be sacked?
Rafa Benitez being available and agreeing to come back. I think this might be the thing that Mike Ashley will see and go, that might get the fans a bit happier.
But he didn't he leave under a bit of a cloud?
Yeah, he left under a cloud of no financing to buy players. And then, he left and they bought Joe Linton for 40 million, so well done. So, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things, and it's Mike Ashley. If Newcastle stay in the Premier League, Steve Bruce probably keeps his job.
Do you know what? I think the same. I think until they're in the relegation zone,
yeah,
he won't be sacked. But honestly, are there 3 clubs worse than Newcastle? They might fortuitously win matches and get points, but are there 3 clubs worse than Newcastle?
West Brom.
Sheffield United.
I wanted to say Sheffield United, but actually as a team, yeah, no, they're probably not. Yeah, Sheffield United.
I'd say Fulham are better than Fulham have shown a lot more about themselves.
Fulham are better. Brighton are better. Burnley are probably better at what they do. Burnley are better at what they do.
Consistent throughout it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're struggling. You are struggling. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, Carragher really stuck the boot in last night on Saturday Night Football. He just described Newcastle as a nothing club.
Yeah.
And I can't disagree with him. It's just kind of like they're just heading into that kind of nothingness. Like they're challenging for nothing. They're making no go of it. If they're not getting relegated, they're not even exciting down the other end of it. It's just kind of like, just drab.
So is that because the squad is so bad, or because of the manager, or the whole club? Because if we're saying Newcastle are the 3rd worst team in the league by our thoughts, if Steve Bruce then keeps them up, is that good management? Because he's keeping them up, and we're saying they should be going down.
It's just about management, isn't it? It's just about. There's no ambition, is there?
Yeah, but if you said that about Fulham, if Fulham finished 17th, you'd say great management. You stayed up, go and move on it.
They're brand new promotion, overachieving the championship. Very small club. Small
that's my question, because we're agreeing that Newcastle are the 3rd worst team in the league, so therefore keeping them up is above our expectations, surely. So it's good management.
Yeah, but I don't feel like they're. It almost feels like they're not trying to improve. It feels like they're not trying to push on.
It's not the management.
You fail. So you try and fail, but it doesn't seem they're even trying to fail. They're just kind of eking it out. I mean, I looked at this match and I looked and I went, 1 shot on target, 52nd minute header from Lascelles, 1 shot on target the whole match. And I looked across and I was like, oh no, sorry, that was the stats from their Arsenal match during the week. So I was like, oops. I look at this match. 1 shot on target in the 3rd minute from Almiron. That's it.
Yeah.
The last 2 matches, I haven't even gone back further than that, but that's 1 shot on target in 180 minutes.
I mean, it's not good. It's not good.
But what was good, and obviously Lascelles, I mentioned him, and then Alan St. Maximin back. Obviously, they were struck down quite tough by COVID.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they'll be back up and running fully. I mean, it's going to take a while, but it's good to see Alan St. Maximin back as well, in particular, because he's a very exciting player to watch, and that may be the kind of catalyst they need. But Villa, I'd say, Villa fans are probably in a bit of a state of shock, because for so long now they've been somewhat like Newcastle, not the best team in the league. They've been, championship. They've been really struggling in the Premiership when they were in here. But now they're comfortably half. I'd say. I mean, whether they overachieve, underachieve, but there's half the side that is worse. Half the league is worse than them.
Oh yeah,
they're better
than
half the league. which is a really nice place for them to be. They're super fun to watch. They flood forwards, and
I swear
it's exciting.
it was Jack Grealish didn't get it sold, and that would have just a huge boost in the whole club. Everybody, every player, every member of staff. I think you can't. I don't think you can
underestimate
underestimate
this season now if like Ross Barkley was replacing.
Yeah,
Jack Grealish.
that's the thing. I don't think you can underestimate how much it meant to get. And yeah, they might sell him this summer, but it's going to be double the value, maybe to double the value.
Yeah,
of what
he's not. He's not. Yeah, he's definitely. It's kind of like it's like to Zaha at Palace. He's their big asset, isn't he? But you keep him
again.
Is it the best thing necessarily? Like we've spoken about Arsenal and holding on to players for a little bit too long. It's not necessarily the best thing to keep hold of Grealish. I mean, you might feel like the best thing as a fan to keep all your best players, but Liverpool have shown it's not always the best thing to keep hold of your most valuable asset.
Yeah, true. Would you?
So don't always fear the sale.
But how did you feel when Gareth Bale was sold?
I was okay with it. I'm always okay with Spurs players progressing to a Real Madrid Barcelona.
Yeah.
I'm always okay with it because Spurs are never. I mean, in 50 years' time, we might be at that stuff, but you have to develop years and years of history to get to that.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with them making that step up.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
All right. Well, let's quickly talk about the games today. Obviously, there's one major game which we'll cover in a sec, but quickly, Chelsea-Luton. See any issue there?
No, I think Lampard will go strong to keep his job.
Brentford-Leicester. I'm intrigued by how Leicester will line up in that because Brentford Spurs played them in the League Cup and they are a good footballing side. They're at home now. Leicester may rotate. Obviously, no Vardy for sure. That could be an interesting matchup. That one.
I think Brentford will win, and I don't think Brendan Rodgers will care.
Okay.
Third in the league, might as well carry on playing for that. That's
right. Fulham v Burnley.
Fulham to win, Burnley to rotate a bit, bring in some youngsters.
I think Fulham will rotate a lot though. I think that'll be who knows of that one.
True. Yeah. Who's at home?
Fulham.
Yeah, Fulham to edge it. Go with the home team. Yeah.
Everton v Sheffield Wednesday. That's the Spurs that play that team in the next round. So I'm cheering on Sheffield Wednesday.
I think both teams will sort of semi-rotate, and I think Everton have not great depth, but they have better depth than Sheffield United. So Everton.
Okay. All right, and then finally, the big match, 5 o'clock kickoff in UK time on BBC. Probably biggest TV audience for God knows how long. We've got Klopp cracking. We've got Man United on a good run of form, top of the league. Rematch of the game that you shafted me with your prediction last week about penalty. What are we going for here, Dave?
United win.
Man United v Liverpool.
United win. Ole will go strong. He'll pick a strong team. I think there'll be a couple of changes from the normal. I think I'm trying to think who it would be. I think Cavani will start up front, which is probably our strongest at the moment because of Martial's form. I think Van der Beek might get a start, but I think he might rest Bruno and play Pogba and Van der Beek with a holder.
Oh no.
But yeah, I think United win. I'm going United win. There's no reason to not be confident. I think Liverpool are cracking a little bit. And again,
Are you staying up for it?
Sorry?
Are you getting up for it?
Probably not, because technically I'll start my new role tomorrow.
Okay, I wouldn't do it. So, yeah, just let it.
Yeah, but if I can't get to sleep, which has happened a couple of times recently, and I've just got up and watched the football, so yeah, if I can't get to sleep, then I'll get up and watch it. So if it was a league game, the league games, I wouldn't miss it. I haven't missed the league game. I've missed one league game since I've been here this season. So, but the FA Cup, unless it's a semi-final or a final, it's probably not actively worth it before the first day of a new role. So.
All right. Well, yeah, I think a lot of people will be watching interestedly. Hopefully, there's a big old fracas, a little bit of a bundle. Oh, I mean,
you're watching more for the atmosphere, as like in terms of the on the pitch atmosphere.
I want it to kick off.
Yeah,
is what I want it to do, Dave.
Nice. You want like a Steven? Yeah. Do you want like a Steven Gerrard sub on, stamp on Ander Herrera, red card, sent off, leave the pitch?
I'll take it whatever we can get. I mean, Spurs play Liverpool on Thursday. I'm hoping for all sorts.
Oh, that's true.
I want it to be super intense. I want it to go to extra time. I want it to go to penalties. I want it to be mentally and physically crippling for them. And Spurs to run out winners on Thursday.
Nice. And then, so what about Spurs? You've got
away at Wickham. Wanderers, bottom of the Championship. That should be our kind of Europa League, FA Cup, League Cup run out side. So Gareth Bale should get a run out. Hopefully, just for a formality.
I love that. Yeah, it'll be our cup team. Yeah, so Gareth Bale.
Gareth Bale, I'll play against Marine, and now playing against Wickham.
Yeah.
Hopefully play against Sheffield Wednesday in the next round.
Joe,
Yeah,
is Joe Hart
it should be a
is
full
Joe
month.
Hart your cup keeper?
He is our cup keeper.
Are you looking
Yep.
forward to seeing Joe Hart pump his chest and get everyone up for the game?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, big morale boost.
yeah. We've got a shout out in the chat for Ndombele's finish last Sunday.
Oh,
So,
oh yes. I mean, I immediately sent to a WhatsApp group going, look at this, and a first response from Mr. Andrew Norman was, "That's a cross." I'm like, that has never been a cross. He put it in with his left foot if that was a cross, and that was
I
just
said
sick.
he meant it, and the Arsenal fan
Yeah.
in our football chat went, "No, he's trying to cross that back."
Clearly, people don't know Ndombele. That is all about. He is all about it. He just has so. He is such a joy to watch. Is Ndombele.
Is he?
Real
Is he
treasure.
your new? I was going to say Musa Sissoko. No, Dembele. The other
Mr.
Musa
Dembele.
Dembele.
Couldn't think of a name. A guy's name who had a very similar name to this one.
No, yeah.
Um, he is. Yeah, he's so much more attacking. Like amazingly, Mr. Dembele with forward is less attacking than Ndombele, the midfielder. Maybe because it's a new role to him. He's moving backwards, but Ndombele's direct attacking passing, like his first pass forward, like he passes it forward into space, and it's just beautiful to watch.
Yeah. I look forward to it in our live watch along of the League Cup final when it's around at the end of the season. So
Yes,
yeah.
that's it. Right. Do you want to hit me, Dave?
I got a Wikifile for you. Hey, go on then. No, it's me, innit? Josh has sent me a Wikifile, everybody. It's short. It's very short. Youth career, straight from the womb into the Trabzonspor Youth Academy, let's say, youth team, which immediately strikes me that he's going to be Turkish. 1983 to 1987, he played for Galatasaray A2.
Yeah. It's off the motorway, off the A road.
Yeah, or a piece of paper. So... then he progressed into the Galatasaray first team. So obviously he must have played some youth games for Trabzonspor, and Galatasaray. He must have scored like 7 against Galatasaray, and they went, "Yep, we'll give your parents and you a professional contract and a bit more money." So that then in 1987 he got that. So a year after we were born, he got a professional contract at Galatasaray. So he's going to be old. Oh, so yeah, now he's going to be really old, like pretty old. He's 50 roughly. No, more than that, 55 now. 1987 to 1999 at Galatasaray, 279 appearances, 34 goals. Wow, okay. Not very often we have a Wikifile where someone spent 11 years at the same club. 1999 to 2001, got him a move to Rangers, 42 appearances, 4 goals. And then in 2001 2009... he signed for Blackburn Rovers, 233 appearances, 11 goals, giving him 554 appearances, 49 goals. That has to be Tudguy or Tugai? I can't remember how you say his name.
It's not Marcus Tudguy, it is Tugai.
Tugai, yeah. Is it?
Tugai, yeah.
What was his first name?
No, it was Tugai. I just need Tugai
Karamiloglu or something. Yeah, Tugai Karamiloglu. Scored an absolute banger. A couple of them, but there's one that stands out, I think, against Derby. Was it Derby? Where he scores it from like the edge of the box. It's like a half volley, and he absolutely rifles it. Yeah, long hair, hairband.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, lovely goal. Lovely goal. Decent player, decent midfielder. Yeah, I didn't realise he had.
Very gifted.
I feel like I remember him moving around more, but clearly not. He played for 3 clubs.
Oh, he loves Istanbul and he loves Blackburn.
Yeah, I mean,
not so much fan of Glasgow.
Yeah, he was like, nah, Scotland's a little bit too north, so I'll just pop down to Blackburn. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. He'll be turning. He's 50 by the way.
Oh, he is 50. So yeah, it was right.
He was the assistant manager to Roberto Mancini in the 13-14 season at Galatasaray.
There you go, Mancini. Oh my God! Wow. Yeah, unbelievable. Did he retire at Blackburn in the Premier League in 2009, or were they Championship by then?
I don't know. Let's have a look. Premier League. Okay,
so he went out at the highest Blackburn peak.
Yeah, he seemed like that kind of guy. Didn't you think he was just he was a class act, wasn't he? 94 appearances for Turkey.
Nice.
2 goals. Yeah, all round class act.
Yeah.
He was just because someone mentioned to me the other day Morton Gamps Pedersen. I was like, class player, and that got me thinking about that Blackburn side. Had some ballers in it. It was pretty
Still
good.
playing. Pedersen, Morton Gams Pedersen.
Where's he at?
Free transfer, according to Football Manager. So someone will snap him up. Someone in Norway.
So still wanting to
Still
play.
wanting to play. Yeah.
I wonder what his hairstyle is these days. He had that very kind of that 90s noughties hairdo, didn't he? That kind of
spiked.
Well, similar to mine is going this long locks actually, but if I bleached it.
Yeah, spiked bleached hair. Morton Gams Pedersen had. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What a player, Morton Gams Pedersen. Beautiful. But yeah, Tugai. And was the personal information assistant manager to Mancini, or did he have?
No. There's a little bit. So he was a youngster. He was also an extremely promising motor race driver, competing as high as Formula 3 level.
Oh wow.
His prowess as a cook is also revered, and in 2010 he was victorious in the Turkish version of MasterChef.
Oh my God! A man of many talents. You said a classy individual.
Yeah.
Imagine having him round for a dinner, or he invites you for dinner.
I'd like
he could
it.
cook great Turkish food, or probably plenty of different cuisines, and then you just chat about football. It'll be amazing. It'll be absolutely amazing.
I'd love to go on a date with him.
Yeah.
His long hair.
I assume he's still rocking his long hair. He must be. He would never get rid of it.
Oh, he's got to be. It was full of grey. He didn't care to kind of change the colour of it. Actually, I can imagine him having a maybe like the West End of London, a Turkish restaurant, like Two Guys or Kerimoglu.
Two Guys, I like that.
The kind of front of house, he'd sit down with special guests and talk to them about football. Maybe his Blackburn shirts on the wall. I can imagine that.
I think you should pitch that idea to him. Send him an email.
Yeah. Yeah, on
Turkey.com.
Yeah.
That's how the internet works, isn't it? So,
yeah.
I mean, you email me at dave@singapore.com, so yeah.
That's exactly how I get hold of you. Yeah. Right, so that brings an end to this week's Football Talk podcast. Thank you for listening, everyone. And if you've been us live on YouTube, thank you for your questions. Did very well in the quiz and all your interactions. Very nice. If you want to get hold of us for next week's show, you can find us on Twitter @Football Talk. But remember,
there's no A in football.
There's no A in football. But thank you very much, everyone, for listening. See you next week. Goodbye.